Carbon trading, meantime, actually that's something GM has participated in, is heating up the market now for the rest of us. The U.S. Chicago Climate Futures Exchange completed the first contract under a scheme that would pretty much allow for a cap on how much carbon companies can emit and a way to trade it for the rest of us. Should you be getting in on that idea? Joining us now, Dr. Richard Sandor, Chairman and CEO of the Chicago Climate Exchange, and Jerry Castellini, President and CIO of Castle Arc Management. Sorry, I was EIOU. All right. Anyway, let me get to you, Dr. Sandor. You have been called the father of carbon trading, and now it went from companies, right, that they could do this. What has specifically changed here that is going to enable people like us, people like our viewers, to actually trade carbon?
Well, we have a regional greenhouse gas initiative program, which is mandated from 10 northeastern states. And they promise to cap their carbon and reduce it. And if they go below their caps, they can sell excess. And if they go above it, they can buy it. But all the while, it is capped at lower and lower levels. On Friday, in what we think was monumental, the Chicago Climate Futures Exchange, a subsidiary of a publicly traded company, Climate Exchange in Europe, launched a futures market on greenhouse gas emissions under the RGGI program. We traded about 70,000 tons. A lot of our members in CCX are already interested in this because they are in the Northeast. But it's the opening up of what I think will be one of the biggest classes for investors.
And so, Dr. Sandor, just to make this very clear, when you're talking about the excess carbon that's in the market, the people that now can buy and sell it, make a bet on price, are people like me. It's no longer just GM buying someone else's excess and selling it, it's me.
Right. Anybody who has a futures account at a futures broker can trade RGGI carbon on the Chicago Climate Futures Exchange.
All right, Jerry, what do you think?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, we've had, the EU's had a system like this in place for some time now. It's had fits and starts and some problems, but it's great the United States gets in the business. It's great we start pricing carbon because it's a debate that unless somebody knows its value, it will go on and on. What makes it tough, though, and institutional investors will most likely shy away initially, is because there's still a lot of moving parts. We don't know how many credits are there relative to the capacity that's outstanding and how much more capacity is going to be added. There's a lot of questions you still have, but for those who want to take this kind of risk, it's neat that we're actually starting it.
And it's interesting, Dr. Sandor, to Jerry's point, the value, if I were to go out and make a bet here of what I'm buying, of a carbon credit, would be based on what the laws are, right? How low they're going to force carbon emissions to go. And that's where the big question mark comes, right? I mean, we have no, at this point, national mandate, so the rules could change.
Well, that's right. And right now, the market's about 560. However, both presumptive candidates, John McCain and Barack Obama, favor of carbon trading. Jerry's point should not be overlooked. Our exchange in Europe that we own, the European Climate Exchange, after several years, and as Jerry indicated, some misstarts, traded $30 billion last year, and this year we're on the road to $100 billion of carbon trading. So these are quite significant. One has to be cautious. The rules are set by governments, but the markets are growing in leaps and bounds.
All right, so Jerry, the bottom line for someone watching who does want to try to engage in this but is a bit nervous would be what, as someone who advises individual investors?
Boy, it's probably not just an individual investor's thing. You'd have to be savvy in the futures markets. You'd have to be established, and you'd have to have a pretty good understanding of what could drive this. Remember, there's all sorts of laws that will still be passed, and a lot of changes in all of this will happen. On the other hand, boy, what other way to directly benefit from or participate in what's most likely a pretty broad secular change? And at $5 or $6, you can say a lot of those risks are pretty well priced in, because the reality is it's $20, $30 plus in Europe, and that's probably the long-term direction of this.
Hey, skip that latte. and go ahead and buy one of those instead. All right, Richard, Jerry, thanks to both of you. Appreciate it.